So we call ourselves the Ruralists. There is this idea that good art comes from cities, comes from urban areas. And we would like people to know that that's not true. I've been a songwriter for a long time. And when I moved to Sioux Center, I just assumed I wouldn't play much because, you know, I came from the Twin Cities, and so there were always people around, always people to play with. My wife, I was sort of complaining about not being able to play music, and she said, "That's your fault. Go find some people to play with." And so she said, "Invite, Ben and Laramie, who owns Fruit Plain. Ben Lappinga is a professor at Dordt as well." And I was a little hesitant because they're my songs, and when you play with, well, it could have gone really poorly, and when you live in a small town, and if it goes bad, then you have to see those people every week. So it didn't go poorly, it went really well. So we started playing last August. The band functions sort of as my scholarship, right? The research I do it's all creative, and for some people I think the idea of that as research doesn't make very much sense, or that as scholarship, but that's what I do. So they hired me to be a fiction writer and to be a writer, and so this is another way to sort of get involved in that art. I grew up in a small town, and I'm sort of getting used to being in such close community with people. I think it's really great. It's really important, and also sometimes like super frustrating to not just be able to like hide somewhere, right? Things that we miss, being able to go to museums, and I don't know, there are more venues and things like that. But there are other things that I don't know how I would live without at this point, which is like my kids walk to the library by themselves. It's a half a block away, which seems insane to me. Like when we lived in St. Paul, they played in our fenced-in backyard, and like that was kind of it. To be where I am in my life now, and to be making the music that I'm making now is a great surprise to me. And with the people that I'm making it with, it's a really wonderful surprise, and I try really hard to be incredibly grateful for it, and I am most of the time. I think sometimes I tell people that my songwriting, the structure that I use is you, me, us. Which it often means that sort of drives my wife crazy, I think, but she gets the first verse. Like I often sing the first verse about her, and then I often sing the second verse sort of about the way that I think about the world, or maybe in connection with her, and then the third verse is sort of how does this thing that I'm singing about affect all of us in this world, right? And that's sort of the only way I know how to think about things, is this, okay, this is how I think about it, and this is how you think about it, and how do the rest of us think about it? It opens up opportunities for other people that also want to make art, right? And these are things that we can share in, right? It's more than just sort of like, I don't know, getting through the day, right? It has to do with a fullness, right? Like a richness to life. David writes, "Give me an undivided heart." I think about that a lot. Like, what does that mean to have an undivided heart? That means to try to be the sole person that you are all the time. And for me, that makes the music that I make, or the art that I make, I think like wonderfully nuanced, like much more complicated than simply saying it's just about this, or it's just about this, or it's just about this. It's about a whole mess of things. Be curious. Like, it's a big and interesting world, and you should ask a lot of questions.